So, you decided you want to go to college, but you don't know where you want to go. You don't even know what to look for in a college. Well, I'm about to give you some advice that I've learned over the years, and really it's advice I wish my advisor had given me in high school. So, I'm basically going to call this, and I have my notes here as usual, 7 things to consider when deciding which colleges to apply to. All right, so before we get into those 7 things, if you're in high school, keep in mind you want to start looking early, okay? The earlier you look in high school, the better. You don't want to wait until your senior year because senior year is going to be chaotic, okay? You're going to have prom, you're going to have sports, you're going to have award ceremonies, you're going to have to make sure you have all your credits to graduate. There's so much you're going to have to do. And a lot of people are trying to do community service senior year, so junior and senior year get really chaotic. But you definitely want to look early on in college. The earlier, the better, okay? Really no less than the end of your junior year. But if you're past that point and you haven't looked, you need to get on it now. All right, so you wouldn't typically apply in ninth, 10th, or 11th grade, but it doesn't hurt to look. So you kind of have an idea of what they expect, okay? So just keep that in mind. And even if you're past high school and you're just going to school later on in life, still, the earlier you start researching, the better, okay? So first thing, career path. All right, so ask yourself, what do I want to do as a career once college is over? Because you always want to kind of keep the next step, the next phase in your life in mind. What do I want to do as a career? And even if you can't figure that out for sure, ask yourself, what can I imagine myself doing? Can you imagine yourself working in the medical field or working, in science or in sports or in drama? What do you see yourself doing or what do you enjoy doing? And your hobbies and your interests can really give you an idea of what you might want to pursue as a career. All right, and so once you come up with a general idea of what you want to do, what you need to look at is start researching schools and looking on their pages, on their websites, under tabs. Usually they'll have a tab that'll either say academic programs or academics or degree programs offered or any kind of, or just simply programs offered. So it'll usually say something like that. It'll usually involve something with either the word academic or degrees offered, okay? So what you want to do is go on these websites and start to see like what degrees do they offer, like do they have anything that matches up what I want to do. If you see yourself being an athletic trainer or being like a physical therapist, well, do they offer anything in sports medicine or sports management or anything like that? Or if you want to be on TV, does it have anything, do they offer anything in journalism or broadcasting or mass communication? So that's what I mean. Ask yourself, what do you see yourself doing? What is your end goal? Okay. Number 2, location. Now, a lot goes into location. All right, so first of all, especially if you're in high school, you want to ask yourself, do I want to be close to home or do I want to be far away? Some people are really, close knit, or they're just really attached to their hometown. Maybe they even want to stay at home, stay in their own room, or be around their friends or people, or maybe they have a job that they want to continue working at. So in that case, you may want to be closer to home, all right, where you can easily commute. And commuting simply means going back and forth, like driving back and forth, like you wouldn't actually live on campus. But if you want to live further away, maybe you just want a little freedom from home, or you want to get away. Like me personally, I hated high school, so I wanted to get as far away from high school as possible. I didn't want to see anybody from my high school, not even my friends, so I went to another state. All right, but there's things to consider about that too. If you go further away, are you going to have a car? Are you going to have transportation? Okay, is it going to be a big school? Is it going to be a tiny school? You can be in a big city, or you're going to be in some cow town. I've been in both. I've been in 2 capital cities for college, for undergrad and graduate. But at one point I had transferred during undergrad and I was in the middle of a cow town. I mean, like tractors in the street kind of cow town, like really, really small town. So you got to think about that stuff. But yeah, definitely keep in mind, am I going to have a car? That's a big one too. Or if I'm not going to have a car, do they have some kind of public transportation? All right. Is there anyone that I know in that area too? Because that definitely helps. When I went to graduate school, I went in Tallahassee, Florida. I went to Florida A&M University, FAMU, one time for my Rattlers. But yeah, so I was in Tallahassee, which is a capital city, but it helped because I had a cousin who lived there. He went there for a different degree, but it was good to just have someone that I knew there. And I also had a friend from undergrad who was there too, but he was at Florida State working on his PhD. So it always helps to have somebody you know. If not, not a big deal. All right, number 3. This is probably the biggest one. cost. How much is it gonna cost? All right, so looking down at my notes here, here's a big thing that will affect the cost. Is it a public school or a private school? That will make a huge difference in cost. If it's a public school, it'll usually cost significantly less. Okay, so but if you really want to go to a private school, by all means, just keep that in mind. Definitely, you want to definitely make sure you have some kind of scholarships or grants or something if you're going to private school. If not, you're going to be taking out a whole lot of loans. Okay, just so you know. All right. Also, tuition. That's the cost to actually attend school. If you're living in, if you're going to go to school in the same state that you live in, well, then you more than likely will qualify for what they call in-state tuition. So what that means is, if you are a resident of that state, like right now, I live in Florida right now, but if I were to go to, because I'm actually looking at PhD programs right now, and so I'm telling you all this from experience. So if I were to go into a PhD program, well, I don't know about PhD program, but if I was to go into any college program, basically, as a resident of Florida, I usually would be able to pay a lot less than someone who, say, came from California. They would have to pay a lot more. And I'm telling you this because as an undergrad, my freshman year, I went to school in Ohio. And yeah, I really got screwed myself up with out of state fees. Okay, I liked it there, but it got way too expensive, and that's actually one of the reasons why I left. I just couldn't afford it anymore. So yeah, think about that too. In-state versus out-of-state tuition is a big one. All right, look on their website. Many schools will offer some kind of scholarship, and if you qualify for it, by all means, that may be a school that you want to apply to. Side note, don't just apply to one. It always helps to apply to several. I narrowed down my list to like 6 or 7. I think I applied to 5 in total. Okay, so never put all your eggs in one basket, because you never know. You may change your mind. Something may come up where you want to go somewhere closer. You may want to go further away. An opportunity may come up. You never know. So it's best to apply to more than one college, okay? Also, some schools will offer tuition waivers for people who qualify. It could be anything. Maybe you are your family's within a certain income bracket. You may qualify for a tuition waiver, okay? So look those things up. Most universities and colleges will have on their page, like I said before, a tab dealing with academics, which will tell you what degrees they offer, but they'll also have something related to financial aid. So it'll tell you about, the cost, all the different tuition and fees. It may tell you if they offer scholarships or grants. So definitely look. So you got to do your research. So definitely look on these websites. You really, really have to research. Okay, the information is not going to come to you. You got to go find it. All right, on to number 4. Now, I really didn't look at this one too much myself, but it doesn't hurt to look. School rankings, okay? So, schools are ranked for several different reasons. If you want to know like where your school ranks, the schools that you're considering nationally, if you want to see where they rank, compared to all the other schools, you can usually you can look them up online. You can go to a bookstore like maybe Barnes and Noble or Books a Million or somewhere like that, and I think, was it U.S. News and World Report? I think they put out a book, and I took a picture of the 2 books that I saw in Barnes and Noble the other day. I'm gonna see if I don't really know how to edit very well, so I'm gonna see if I can put them up. And it's a book about, one of the books was best grad schools, and another one was just like, best schools in America, and they rank them and they give you basic stats on the school. So that doesn't hurt to look, to pick one of those up. All right, so number 5, school population. All right, as I told you, I've gone to a school in a big city, and the school was way bigger than the one in the small town. I went from a school that had roughly about 60,000 students to a school that had 2,500. And so that makes a big difference in the class size, okay? So that can often play into your learning style. Like, are you comfortable or okay being in a class with hundreds and hundreds of people? My freshman year, I sat in a sociology lecture that had like 900 students. But keep in mind, in cases like that, what they will do to accommodate your learning style is that they'll have these big lectures that will have hundreds of students in them, but then on certain days, you may have to go to that same class, but it'll be broken up into separate rooms, into groups of like 20 or 30. So while the professor is teaching all of you, you may go, like on Mondays and Wednesdays, you may go Tuesday and Thursday to like a graduate student who just kind of reviews the lesson that the professor taught, but he might only have like 20 or 30 of you in a room. So you can still ask questions and get clarification. So keep that in mind. Like I said, I went to a much smaller school that had like 2,500, more like 3,500, I think. And so that those classes were much smaller, and I liked both, but I prefer the smaller, me personally, because I was able to really get to know my professors, and it really, really helps when you can get to know them. All right, on to number 6, student activities. So on to the fun stuff. Student activities. You're there for school, you're there to get your education, but then there's other things that, make college fun, or can help you along with your career path. For example, I was in ROTC my first 2 years of college. It kind of ended up becoming too much with that, and I was taking way too many hours, so I had to give up something, and I ended up getting out of the ROTC program. But if that's something that you want to pursue, see if the school offers it. Many public schools will offer that, and they will offer them for the military, will offer them for different branches of the military, depending on what branch you're interested in going into. If you want to go into Navy ROTC or Army or Air Force, so on and so forth, look to see which ones they will offer. If you're interested in the Marine Corps, you need to find a Navy ROTC branch. See what schools offer Navy ROTC branches, and that's the one you would want to apply to, just so you know. All right, intramural sports. Like I said, you're there for school, but you want to have fun. Maybe you like to play a sport, but you're not on the official team. So there's all kinds of intramural sports. I took a karate class. I took a karate class. I knew a girl that was on a intramural fencing team. There's all kinds of intramural sports out there where they do, they compete and things like that. Greek life. I'm in a sorority. I pledged a sorority in 2008. And so if there's a certain sorority or fraternity that you're interested in, you may want to look to see if they have a chapter of that organization there. And so all 3 schools that I attended, they had a chapter of the organization that I'm a part of. So that may be something you want to pursue. If not, no big deal, but it doesn't hurt to look. All right, social and political activism organizations. And my sorority it is a social political activist program or organization. But maybe you are really passionate about something. Maybe you're passionate about rights for the LGBT community, or maybe you have passion for civil rights for women, or for certain ethnic groups, whatever it is, or people with special needs. Look under student activities. Usually on websites, it'll either say student activities or student life. And so it'll let you know what kind of things they offer, extracurricular things that they offer that you can be a part of. All right. And then last but not least, graduate programs. All right. For certain fields or certain careers, they may require you to get a graduate degree, something beyond a bachelor's, maybe a master's degree like an MBA, or, your JD if you want to go to be an attorney or a lawyer, or, you might want to look at those schools to see, do they have graduate programs? Because sometimes you may have like an inside track to getting into that program if you went there for undergrad. I've seen a lot of people who were able to do that. They went for undergraduate and graduate school at the same school. Okay, so that's something you want to consider too. So with that said, hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, be sure to comment. Hopefully you will find this helpful. Please subscribe. Let me know if you have any questions. If you would like to send me an email, you can email me at thefearlessfreshman@gmail.com. With that said, have a great day and hope you find what you're looking for.